Hi everyone! Welcome to Car Mad Dad and a review of the Mini Cooper S John Cooper Works convertible. Nice. He goes lovely. The exhaust pops. And it rasps. It's a hoot. There it is, it's a happy car. I'm so happy. Pops and bangs, and I don't know if you can hear that. Bob, bob, bob. Hear it? You have to work with it, you have to play with it. Oh, she corners well. She goes. Good on the brakes. Bird. Take two. Let's try that again. I've had this car for the week now. Thought it'd be a really good time to share my thoughts and how I've got on with it. It's been an absolute hoot. I've really enjoyed driving around in this car, and I'm going to be honest, I wasn't expecting to. So let's start you off with this car, Mini Cooper S, John Cooper Works convertible. It's only done 1,600 miles from new, black bonnet stripes, black roof, fully loaded with absolutely everything you could ever possibly want in a car. It's the Auto ZF8 from the BMW, so I'll put in those paddles and having a good time. It's got Harman Kardon sound, heads-up display, Apple CarPlay, nav, all the modes, heated seats, Cooper Works seats themselves. It's got the John Cooper Works exhaust on the back which pops and bangs, and it's very subtle but it's really fun. It can be as engaging or as unengaging as you want it to be. It bears the John Cooper Works badges, you know, it can't be a slouch. But what they've done with this car at Mini, or BMW probably, is giving it a far more refined ride while keeping it stiff. And there are trade-offs there, but actually day-to-day use in this car, I'm on a very noisy, very busy, very poor British road at the moment. And actually, it's fine. I'm in what's known as, I don't know what this mode's called actually. I'm in mid mode, or for BMW drivers, comfort. With Mini you get mid rather than comfort, green rather than eco, and then sport as sport. There is no Sport Plus. If you drive BMWs, you'll recognise a lot of the systems. Mini have sort of put their own tweak on it. It's a bit more fun and a bit more playful with the graphics on the center console, etc. But actually everything looks as you would know, and you'll recognise a lot of the dials and the systems and the switches and how everything works. It's the first car I've ever driven with Apple CarPlay, and I've got to say that's really good. So if those of you who haven't got it, and you know you can get it coded into your car, then I would suggest that you do. It looks fantastic, works really easy, and it's a lot better than a lot of the systems that these manufacturers have got in place. If you use your phone for a lot of things like most people do, then that works well. I've run the car for over a week now. It's done everything with me, so it's been on the motorway, A roads, B roads, it's short trips, long trips and everything in between. And this car ticks a lot of boxes in that it can be as involved or as uninvolved as you want it to be. So I've driven to work most mornings in green mode, which does everything that Eco Pro does at BMW. So it dims your climate control, dims your engine response, makes it as economical as possible, allows the car to cruise as well, so it'll hit neutral and roll for as long as it's able to. I've been getting everything from 45 to 30 out of this car, and slightly lower. I had one run in sport along some country lanes and it did high 20s. But to be honest with you, for the performance that's on tap, that's not bad. This is a fun little toy. Take it out, have a laugh, get the roof off, get some wind in your hair, and enjoy it. You know, that's mid mode. Listen to it. It wants to go. It wants to rev. It will take you all the way to 6,000 RPM without any trouble at all. It's not as quick or as urgent up the rev range as something like a M140, but actually that makes it a bit more fun to drive. You have to work that little bit harder for it. And if you pop it into sport, drop the gear, whether that be manual or automatic, you know, and then it'll overtake. No bother at all, and it keeps going. It's so engaging. Where it does lose a bit is if you are pushing on. The steering, for me, feels a bit numb. In comparison to Golf R, Golf GTI, M140, I haven't driven in a Bath yet, I'd really like to, but it feels nimble, it handles very, very well, but the steering just lacks that bit of feedback. You don't really know what the tyres are doing when you want to, just to make it that bit more intuitive. And what BMW Mini tend to do with these cars is when you put them in a sport mode and you can't configure it in the Mini, they make the steering so heavy that you lose that, I don't know, you lose a bit of engagement with the tyres. I'd still love the car, it wouldn't change anything, I would still buy one, it wouldn't change that for me. But if I was going to have a go at something, I think it's the steering. I think when you do want to sort of get a bit fighty with it and you do want to have a bit of fun and give it a bit of something in the twisties, it just lacks a little bit of front end engagement. I'd be really interested to see what an Abarth handled like, because I know they don't compete, but for me they sort of do, you know, that little fun Super Mini. They're really two-seaters. The sound system from Harman Kardon is really, really good. A league above the stuff that you get in the, is it the Meriden systems you get in the Range Rovers and Land Rovers, which are a pile of dross, you'll excuse me. The materials feel fantastic. Again, Mini look more like BMW every day. You've only got to compare this one to the generation previous. They are borrowing more and more kit, tarting it up to make it Mini. Gearboxes, dials, systems, controls, knobs, you know, infrastructure. The car runs very much like a BMW. I think you're losing a bit of Mini, if you like. I think there are worse things that could happen to the car, like manufacturers like Aston Martin now putting a Mercedes engine into the new Vantage. There are good reasons to put good parts into an already good car, and that's to improve it. They've had to get bigger, they've had to get safer, they've got new regulations with regards to emissions. You know, there are constant boxes that these manufacturers have to tick now, and this car does it really well whilst remaining a lot of fun. And I know what the sort of Mini purists will say is that it's not really a Mini anymore, and you're right. This is BMW's take on the Mini. This is not a Mini per se, in the same way that a Land Rover these days isn't really a Land Rover anymore. It's just a brand, a marketing exercise, and it's a good one as far as I'm concerned. But what BMW have tried to do, I think, is keep the Mini characteristics. They've tried to keep it fun, and you get that no sooner you get into the car. You are reminded constantly of the heritage of John Cooper Works. Everything is checkered flags, black gloss wherever it can be. The exhaust note, you know, the pop and bang. The interface is, you know, fun. Everything that you touch, look at, has got a Mini feel about it. It makes you feel like you're at an occasion, and it makes you smile. There's no two ways about it. I completely understand why Mini drivers are in love with their cars, because getting in this car and driving it around is an event. I've had a whale of a time driving this thing around. Well, in no matter what mode, even if I'm just taking my time and cruising, it does it so well and puts a smile on your face. Because of that, because of the fun element of the car, you forgive it other things. You forgive the fact it's got no legroom in the back. 95% of the time you're driving this car, it'll make you feel special. And isn't that what cars are supposed to do? I think this car does it. Nice. It's a hoot. Think of that.